heat, the 80s for a lot of us, and now it's kind of cooler temperatures.
Yeah.
There in South Florida, and there was a tornado warning on it. I don't know if you saw that one, but it was pretty intense there coming into kind of that Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton area. Thankfully, it didn't produce anything. We do have the possibility of more thunderstorms today from Wyoming all the way over to Minnesota and stretching down into Texas. So what's causing all of this? All right, we have our jet stream, and you can see that right here, the winds just screaming in from the Pacific, and we also have the mid to upper level energy right here. So this whole system is going to be swinging east, and it's going to get injections of energy as it does so. It's not this perfect little low pressure that's going to come on in. It gets some injections of it. We're also going to get injection of moisture coming up from the southern plains here, and that's going to help give us the threat for some stronger thunderstorms. You need that warm, moist, buoyant air as you head through the day today. We get that energy. I'm not expecting like loads of storms. We just don't have loads of energy and everything kind of in place. Tomorrow, a little bit of a better chance from Iowa down towards Oklahoma City, stretching through Kansas. This is where we could see that hail threat of 2 inches or more. So you're talking greater than softball size hail, lime size hail, bigger than that coming on in. And some of the reasons that we think that we're going to have that hail component is because you get some cooler air aloft, so that can sustain that ball of ice as it's growing through the atmosphere and falling through the atmosphere. At first, we do have a little bit of warm air that's just sitting on top and is happy, but we will get daytime heating and also that cold pocket aloft. That will help kick off storms. And then, of course, we have the surface features, too, tomorrow, by the way, that are going to help develop these thunderstorms and some stronger winds punching in that just energize the entire system. So as we go through tomorrow evening, there's that cooling aloft. That's why you get that bigger hail. And as we go through the day, notice much of the day it's pretty quiet for us. As we head around that 8 o'clock, things start firing there into Iowa and Missouri. Look at Des Moines here, where we're actually below average on snowfall. I was just looking, it's like 2.8 inches or something. It's not very much. But, Jim, we're well above average with that 74, and then below average on our Thursday with 58.
Yeah, I think Des Moines
Right now, because we are seeing cooler temperatures into places like Iowa this morning. We do have those temperatures below average. Des Moines is at 39, Chicago is at 34 degrees, and there are all your freeze warnings. And I was just looking up. Did I not save that? Yeah, I saved it. Okay. So we do have freeze warnings. If we scroll up a little bit, I can rattle off some of the lists for you and the names and the cities that we're going to be dealing with. So our freeze warnings here in Iowa are until 8 a.m., and we're talking about Independence, Manchester, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Davenport, Bettendorf. Our temperatures could drop down into the upper 20s, and our average is more around 38 degrees. So that just tells you how cold it is. It's not super frigid, but it's definitely below average and a little bit on the chilly side. Today, our highs into the 50s to 40s. D.C., a beautiful 70 degrees for us. And look at our warmth today. It does stretch all the way up into Nebraska, but all of this cool air right around the Great Lakes, this is lipstick on our collar from that low pressure that we've been talking about really for the last couple of days. That eventually starts to move out as we head into tomorrow. So notice that warming into Chicago, 69 degrees. D.C. is even going to pop up there. And we will see a ridge. It's all about basically ridge trough, ridge trough, ridge trough. And when you're in the ridge, you get the warmth. When you're in the trough, you get the cooler temperatures. And so it's all kind of hit or miss depending on what day we're on. You can see the ridge trough pattern continuing into our Thursday, stretching into the northeast with those warm temperatures like we showed you. 21, Jordan.
That's shocking.
That could be part of our changing climate. To talk more about that, you can join us on Pattern at noon, Monday through Friday. Our year anniversary tomorrow.
And there's more people down in Florida, which means that increases.
Show you that our showers and thunderstorms progress east on Thursday. Chicago, a few thunderstorms, but really from the Boot Heel all the way down to, say, around the Austin areas where we have our best chance for storms, as not only do we have our front and our dry line, both lifting mechanisms, we also have that oomph in the atmosphere that's going to kick off. We have the moisture, southerly flow coming up northbound here. That's going to make the atmosphere juicy and the potential for some stronger storms to develop. As we go into our Wednesday evening, into our Thursday, look at Thursday afternoon, how our low pressure really gets stronger, and right along the boundary of that, you are going to see that lift in the atmosphere and the showers and the thunderstorms. Overnight, it makes its way in towards Indianapolis and southbound. So Thursday into Friday, there is a chance for flooding in these areas, too. You get some of the heavier downpours. And a lot of these places, it's just been rain after rain after rain. We haven't been able to quit it. And then everything kind of drops south as we head into our Friday from Natchez all the way back to College Station, where Texas A&M is. And then everything's going to progress eastbound eastbound as we head into our Friday. So Friday afternoon, coming home from school, Mississippi, down into Louisiana, southern Arkansas, it's going to be wet. And as we roll into our Friday evening, we're still holding on here. Eastern Alabama, Georgia, into the Carolinas. You're going to have a nice Friday evening. Saturday morning, you'll see some of those storms, but then they are going to push on through, and it will be much improved later in the day. But overall, more rain for places that really don't need it overall. Hard to keep up with it, you know, with the wind blowing and everything. Notice we're in a snowy scene around me. This is what we are seeing, and I just saw Reno tweeting that they have snow, the Reno National Weather Service office, with the snow coming down, and it's all compliments of this. We have a big trough in the west, and this will be our weather maker essentially for the rest of the week. It's going to look a little different as it moves east, but as it does so, it brings cooler air into portions of the plains, into the Great Lakes, and then eventually into the northeast. But ahead of that, you have very warm temperatures. Behind it, you've got the cool air wrapping around. Now, it says limited, but it's still there and it's still cold. So don't think that you're just going to get off with no problem here. And I got to tell you, Minneapolis, I just wish this would shift south. We're, what, about 8 inches or so behind our record for the season. That's all we need is 8 inches. It's not a lot for Minneapolis, right? But this time of year, it starts getting harder and harder. You see all that snow to the north. I think we still have a chance, but you know, you get 1 to 3 out of this one if we're lucky, maybe, then you're only 5 inches away. And so it starts adding up like that. Mainly rain on the east side of this, where we have those warmer temperatures in the 80s ahead of it, and then you drop down to the 60s below it, generally speaking. Tonight, we will see that rain into Iowa, also into Minnesota. Tomorrow, we get more rain with those warmer temperatures, obviously not helping our cause here, into Minneapolis. Duluth, I think we're going to get it in Duluth with the couple systems that we have coming through. Wednesday night, our front really starts to develop here. We could see some thunderstorms along that, as well as the possibility of flooding from Emporia all the way up into Green Bay. And then Thursday into Friday, everything's going to start sweeping eastbound. And this is just the northern portion of this. We'll see storms on the southern portion of it, and it is slow moving. It is only Tuesday. And look at this. By Thursday night, we're still hanging around the Great Lakes, Jordan.
We'll check in on the strong winds sending large.
Buckle it up, because spring is here, and Mother Nature and Old Man Winter are turning it into a battle royale. The next coast-to-coast commuter and the cities that could come out on top for snowiest season on record. And Jim, look at that severe weather too.
Pretty big area.
So if you have to wait in line,
that's right,
at the post office, you'll have nice weather to do that. It might be a little hot and sweaty, as it always is there in South Florida. Let's talk about the severe weather that is going to be making its way east as we head through the day today. Today we have some storms. You see this kind of hook shape, the area that we have the threat for severe weather. What's happening in the atmosphere? Well, we have our jet stream coming around the base and stronger winds coming into the Four Corners into portions of Wyoming. And then we also have our energy that's in the mid-levels of the atmosphere here. And if you look at that, this essentially, this big area is going to be what's affecting our weather as we head over the week. The rest of the week, we're going to be dealing with that. And you'll get different types of weather depending on where you are. Obviously, ahead of it, you get that southerly flow, and you can see the winds coming from the south to the north. That's going to drive the heat, the humidity, and that's going to make a better chance for some storms, especially as we head into tomorrow, once that energy swings a little bit farther east. It's still a little bit far back for the day today, and that moisture is still building, but we do have some instability. So some of those stronger storms might be up towards Iowa, moving into Illinois. Tomorrow, a better possibility of seeing some of those thunderstorms from Des Moines down towards Oklahoma City. And this is where we could have the chance of hail. 2 inches or greater. We're talking lime-size hail. And one of the reasons that we could see hail a little bit bigger tomorrow is because some of that colder air is going to move in, and so that's going to help the hail grow big and also keep its shape and its size as it's falling through the atmosphere. Today, we have a little bit of warm air loft. That's going to kind of cap everything. But with some of our daytime heating, we might get a few storms to develop as we head into the afternoon. I think tomorrow we have a better chance because we're going to get that upper level support. Yeah, we have some winds punching in. There's that cooling aloft tomorrow evening, as I mentioned. And I'll show it to you real quick, and then we'll hand it over to Jim. Jim, I think that Wednesday there's a much better chance as that energy is going to be a little bit farther east.
Yeah, I mean, Tuesday doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, temperature is below average and a little bit cooler. This is with our first system. Then we'll warm up ahead of our next system, and then we cool back down behind it. So we're on this roller coaster going up and down as we head throughout the week here. So this first batch of cooler air does linger around, and if again we just rise up a little bit there, I can help you guys out here. There we go. Freeze warnings for us into Iowa until 8 a.m. And for places like Independence, Manchester, Cedar Rapids, Marengo, Iowa City, you're all under this. Davenport, Bettendorf. Our temperatures dropping into the upper 20s for a lot of these advisories here. And our average is kind of 10 degrees above that. We should be in the upper 30s. So a little bit of frost out there on some of your plants. But notice right around where we still have this energy, it's keeping us cool. And the clouds as well helping keep us cool, but we will see these temperatures today, again, ahead of our system in the west. You see that cooler air. Ahead of that, you get a warming trend. So we see that tomorrow. Look how that cooler air is coming south. That means we're all going to warm up more a little bit farther east, and we will be in this ridge here. But then, unfortunately, we get into this trough as we head into our Thursday. Jordan, that will all move east.
All right, let's get everybody caught.
Event for you, so that's good. We'll be clearing out. But as we head into our Thursday and Friday, it certainly looks like we could be in the red zone, anywhere from Austin all the way up. Chicago, we'll see really probably just a stray shower or two. The bigger thunderstorms will be here in the south, where we have more moisture, we have more forcing, and we have that lift going on with the help of the dry line and also our front as well. So things really, not much happens today. Tomorrow we see a little bit. I think that on Thursday is when we will see more development of these showers and thunderstorms coming in with more energy and our whole system swinging eastbound. I think what's interesting about this too is this is obviously where we have our front, but look at back here, we still have some of that snow with that upper level energy that's moving east and helping give us lift in the atmosphere. Underneath it, it's going to give you snow. Dallas up to the Boot Hill, we have that chance for some flooding rain. Friday, everything kind of drops south. Notice Louisiana, we are still in it, but I promise you by Saturday, this is going to be out of Louisiana. Look at our Friday afternoon, still those showers. Even into Friday evening, ahead of it, you're going to have warm air from Florida all the way up the I-95 corridor. But there is that possibility that some of these showers could be heavier and you could see some big time downpours. A lot of these places just do not need the rain. We've been getting so wet for so long. The GFS model also giving us about the same amount of rain. Okay, I don't know about that snow into the Appalachians, but hey, you can dream if you're into snow, then start dreaming about that one there. Showers here in Little Rock Thursday into Friday. These things and learning about different people and different cultures and languages and animals, all of it. You just grow so much when you're put in, places that you're not used to. So let's talk about places that we're very used to, and that is the snow and the rain with our systems coming in from the northwest. Here's our big dip in the jet stream, and that is going to be our weather maker as we head through the rest of the week. It's going to be scraping eastbound. Now ahead of it, you get warmth. Then you're going to get a shot of cold on the backside of it, which is pretty typical for a system. Now, we say there's limited cold air, but there's still cold air. It's not like you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I can wear shorts and T-shirts. We're still talking about snow on the backside of the system here. Duluth, I think this kicks us over the top for sure with snowfall for the snowiest winter on record. Minneapolis, we're still about 8 inches, maybe a little less than 8 inches to being the snowiest winter on record. Can we make it in Minneapolis? Who's taking bets on Minneapolis actually getting it? It's going to be tough, but it's certainly possible because if you get 2 inches out of this one, all of a sudden you only need 6 inches. You get 2 inches out of another one, so it can eat away with it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, we're almost there. All right, 1 to 2 inches of rain ahead of our system. Tonight, everything is going to kind of start getting its act together into tomorrow. I think on Thursday is when the system really is going to expand and blossom and bloom and give us more rain and more thunderstorms. Wednesday night, we see it kind of starting to drop down into the southern plains. And then Thursday, it certainly has its arms stretched wide here from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. So watch out for the possibility of some flooding here, Jordan. There's a lot of snowmelt going on for us on Thursday, and these rivers are really starting to rise.
Yeah, and we're going to stay active here.
Buckle up, spring is here, and Mother Nature and Old Man Winter are turning it into a battle royale. The next coast-to-coast commuter in the cities that could come out as the snowiest and the stormiest. Jim.